Welcome back to Dummy Boy Finance. I'm Dummy Boy, and in this video, I want to go over major news that just came out in Tellurian, and we're going to go over that right now. So, Tellurian signed a 10-year LNG agreement with a Gunvor, and this is major news, and this is something that we have been anticipating here for Tellurian ever since our Petronet deal kind of fell through. So we were looking for a buyer here for Tellurian, and we finally got a long-term source of income. So if we just quickly read through this, Gunvor Singapore announced today LNG sale purchase agreement of 3 million tons per annum for a 10-year period, indexed to a combination of two indices, the Japan-Korea maker and the Dutch title transfer facility, netted back for transportation charges. The LNG would be delivered free on board from Tellurian's Driftwood LNG, a 27.6 MTPA liquefaction facility proposed near Lake Charles, Louisiana. We knew that Driftwood was ready for drilling, we were ready to start construction, but we keep getting delayed because of a lot of macroeconomic issues that Suki has talked about. And so overall, LNG prices continue to rise, and at Tellurian they have a very cheap supply and they have a very nice profit margins at the current prices of LNG right now. And so having a 10-year agreement is huge, but how much revenue exactly are we going to get from this? Our business model creates significant value for Tellurian at today's LNG prices. This agreement represents the equivalent of about 12 billion in revenue over a 10-year agreement. And so if we do the math, that's a little bit more than $1 billion annually on a company right now that has a valuation of a $1.5 billion market cap. So we're looking at a company that has locked down a deal that is going to bring in over $1 billion a year. And so that is just strictly revenue, and that is equivalent to the market cap right now. And so in this video, I'm not going to go over what Tellurian does. If you guys want to know about that, I have made a video on Tellurian a while ago on January 1st. I said buy the stock in 2021. It's extremely undervalued. And during this time, Tellurian was trading at around $1. And so at the time of this specific recording, Tellurian was positioned to deliver $5 to $7 a share of cash flows, and this is before this agreement. So at the time of that recording, Tellurian was trading at around $400-500 million market cap. Just keep in mind that this formula is derived considering the full capacity of Driftwood, and so we have $2.1 billion of annual cash flow coming out of Driftwood, again, before this agreement. And so if we're looking at the $2.1 billion of annual cash flow we're going to get for Driftwood, and then we're also looking at the $1 billion that we're going to get from Gunvor, we're looking at a cash cow machine today that is only worth $1.5 billion. And so overall, Tellurian says themselves these guys should be worth over $14 to $17 a share. That's just how much they're going to be worth over the long term. Right now, again, this is still technically a startup in my opinion, and so that is why I still believe very heavily on Tellurian. The market cap has gone up $1 billion since I made the first video on Tellurian, but I still think we are very little compared to what we will get to in the very near future. And so with all of that being said, let's look at Tellurian on the daily time frame to see how we reacted to the news today. So right now we're currently up about 18%. Biggest thing I want to mention here is this huge gap that will eventually get filled on Tellurian at around $3.17. And so right now we're well above all of our SMAs. You can see we exploded on the news, and overall people actually have been selling on this rip. And so my assumption on this indicator is that people who might have been holding the bag up here saw the opportunity to break even or maybe take some profits and get out of Tellurian while they can, not understanding the long-term fundamentals of this company and not understanding how right now you should not be really selling, you should be buying at these levels even though we're up 18% today. And so overall for myself, you guys know I've been in this stock for a very long time now, and Tellurian is one of the best stocks to hold for the long term. And so Tellurian is just one of my favorite stocks right now because tech continues to get hammered, a lot of volatility in tech, a lot of overvaluations on tech. Tellurian is a play on commodities, on a rising commodity that is only going to get more expensive as time passes, and it's going to become more valuable while people start to transition from fossil fuels to renewable energy. And so this transition energy of LNG is going to be here for the next couple decades, and I expect Tellurian to dominate this space. And so this deal is just going to be one of the deals that Tellurian has. I believe once Driftwood gets to full capacity, this is just going to be one of many deals that Tellurian is going to have. And so overall, this was a very beautiful day to see in Tellurian on a stock that was drifting to the downside. But overall, we could just see how healthy the price action has been. We found a bottom on our 200-day SMA, which also coincided right here with the top of this peak. And so you could see this was once resistance. We tested as support, and now we were off to the races. So the price action looks extremely bullish on Tellurian. What's happening in Tellurian is extremely bullish. If I'm looking at everything that the management is doing, Suki is doing absolutely everything he can to steer this boat in the right direction. Remember, he dominated Cheniere Energy. He took his talents from Cheniere to Tellurian, and he's now going to make this startup into a monster that eventually competes with Cheniere Energy. And so I'm excited to see the progress of this company. Tellurian is a fun company to watch because it is a baby and an infant at this stage in its development. And so I'm very excited to see the progress that I'm going to watch here on Tellurian. And today was a really great day for Tellurian investors, up 18% right now, but do look for this gap to fill at $3.17. Our RSI is extremely overbought as well, and so we are starting to see divergence right here. So again, this should fill sometime in the near future, and I do think that would be a very nice buying opportunity. If you have yet to get into Tellurian, just know that for the long run, this is going to be a monster. And so if you guys enjoyed this quick little update here on Tellurian, don't forget to like. We are on the road to 10K subs, so if you made it to this point, feel free to hit that subscription button. This is Dummy Boy Finance. I'm Dummy Boy, and I'll see you guys in the next one.